to remain in the shadow cabinet when it's widely known I'm at odds with it on the most important issue facing the British people. On the Tory policy against a European currency, he says this risks leaving us marooned by events, marginalised in debate and alienated from sections of the electorate who would normally look to us as their instinctive home. Ul-Haq is standing firm, hoping the Eurosceptical approach strikes a chord with the voters. He wants to avoid what his supporters saw as the public fudge and private feuding behind the policy he inherited. In his reply to David Curry, Ul-Haq says, "I would rather fight for what I believe without the support of some members of the party than pretend we have no beliefs at all." Present and former colleagues have rallied to that line.
On an issue like the single currency, I think just as the government have said that in principle they're in favour of it, but they have to get the timing right, I think it's right for the Conservative Party to say we have the profoundest doubts and scepticism about it. We hope it will not be necessary for Britain ever to join the single currency because we believe it will lead gradually but irresistibly from a European government.
David Curry's been talking to fellow pro-Europeans from his home, and they're convinced the Tory policy of unconditional hostility to a European currency could consign the party to the wilderness. Ul-Haq is just as determined to show the pro-Europeans are an unrepresentative minority. That won't be easy. The pro-Europeans are looking more determined by the day. The Tories have never looked more divided. John Pinar, BBC News, North Essex.
The French government has announced new concessions for lorry companies to try to avert the truck drivers' strike planned for tomorrow. The drivers are threatening to set up roadblocks unless they reach an agreement over pay. Here, companies are making plans to prevent British drivers being stranded.
At GSI in Hertfordshire, they're still loading their lorries as the talks in France go on. This one's bound for Italy, due to reach the continent tomorrow night when the strike's set to begin. But it won't be travelling through France as usual.
So if we run Ramsgate, Ostend, through Belgium, Germany.
In the office, they're replanning the routes, sending the lorries via Belgium and Switzerland. It adds 250 miles to the journey and they have to take smaller loads. It'll cost more money and it's frustrating.
This is the second time in 12 months. Last time we lost money, and no doubt this time we'll lose money as well. How long can we as an industry lose money because of foreign countries' disputes that we have nothing to do with whatsoever?
In France, the blockades are already being set up. French lorry drivers stopped supplies, leaving 3 big petrol depots in Rouen, a signal of what could follow at the ports and on the motorways. The threatened strikes over better pay and conditions, a dispute that's been going on for a year. And while the last-minute talks continue, British firms have to expect the worst. GSI estimate they could lose at least £1,500 a day during the strike. Their anger is partly directed against the EU, which they feel can't guarantee their right to free movement and free trade in Europe. Valerie Jones, BBC News, Hertfordshire.
An investigation has begun into the cause of a house fire that killed a family of 5 at Skelmersdale in Lancashire. Firefighters found the bodies of 2 adults and 3 children in an upstairs bedroom early this morning. Neighbours had tried to rescue the family, but were beaten back by the smoke.
It was a fierce blaze which virtually gutted the 2-storey house. Neighbours were awoken just before dawn by the sound of shouting. One man tried to break into the building to reach those inside.
I broke the front door window to see if I could get in that way, but there was no hope. The smoke just came out that fast that knocked me over to the other side with my chest being bad. And there's no way you could get in there at all.
In a back bedroom, firefighters found the bodies of 5 people, 2 adults and 3 children, aged between 10 and 15. They'd been living in the house for about 18 months. An investigation's begun, but with such severe damage, it could be some time before the cause is known. Kevin Bouquet, BBC News, Skelmersdale.
Prince Charles, Nelson Mandela and the Spice Girls have appeared together on the first day of the Prince's visit to South Africa. President Mandela said it was one of the greatest moments of his life. Tonight, Prince Harry will also meet the pop group when he accompanies his father to a charity concert in Johannesburg.